What's going on, everybody? Mr. Barry here. We're going to be talking about having equations where you have variables on both sides. So we're doing a lot here, and what our ultimate goal is in solving these problems is understanding that there's a scenario that plays out where we want to get a variable and a constant on one side, and a variable and a constant on another side. And once we get to that spot right there, then we can start maneuvering things, because you know that we want to get the variable isolated. That's the whole point of equations, to get the variable isolated. We could get that eventually. But here there's a lot going on. The first thing that sticks out to me in this problem is that we have a situation where there's some sort of distribution. We want to make sure that we get that done first. We always do distribution first. Then if there's any combining like terms, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do some distribution. We got to be careful here. The order of operation tells us to multiply things before we add or subtract. So there's a little bit of eye candy here. This 5 minus 2 that happens in front of the parentheses. Please understand that we're not worried about that right now. We're just going to drop that 5 down because that negative 2 is attached to the 3 minus x inside the parentheses. So we're going to distribute to both sides here, or excuse me, not to both sides, excuse me. We're going to distribute to the terms inside the parentheses the negative 2. All right, so when I do that, I have negative 2 times 3, that's negative 6. Negative 2 times negative x. Negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times x would be 2x. And please remember that, again, I understand it. It happens a lot. There's a big mistake potential right there. We're just going to drop down the 5 right away. Nothing's happening on the right side here. We got the 4x plus 10. We're going to keep it like that. 4x plus 10 is what we have. And when it comes to labeling steps that we've done, we just did the distributive property right there. Again, the goal is for variable constant, and I have that on the right side, variable constant. I need some combining of like terms right here. I have two constants, 5 and negative 6. So let me go ahead. Those things are on the same exact side with one another. So I'm going to take it for face value. I have 5 minus 6, and straight up, 5 minus 6 is negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to combine like terms there. CLT, combine like terms, 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Now I'm in a spot where I have constant variable, variable constant, one of each on both sides. I personally like to move the terms with the variable first. And for me, in this problem, it makes sense for me to move the 2x to the right side, because I'd have to do the inverse operation and subtract 2x. That's going to give me a positive number over there. So again, now I'm going to start moving it so I have the variable on one side, the constant on the other. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other when I'm going across the equation. 2x minus 2x makes 0x, which makes 0, which is good, because now I'm going to have the negative 1 over there. 4x minus 2x is 2x. I like the fact that that's positive 2. If I can get that coefficient to be positive, I'd love to do that. That's why I did that step in this situation. So we went a variable on both sides. Here we did the subtraction property of equality there. Now I have constant, variable, constant. Let's start isolating the variable. We're down to a two-step equation. So I'll subtract 10 from both sides. I got 2x. On the right, 10 minus 10 is 0. I like that. Negative 1 minus 10. 1 negative, 10 more negatives makes a total of 11 negatives. That was the subtraction property of equality again. Finish up by doing division here. And I believe I'm going to come about at negative 5.5 as a final answer, with the division property of equality happening right here. Remember to distribute if we can first, then we have to combine like terms. When we have variables on both sides, get the variable on one side, get the constants on the other.